Hello, everybody. Fancy seeing you here. Welcome to the Mosaic coffee break with me, Jakob, and we are currently just waiting for Elise to join us. She will be my partner for today for this coffee break. So maybe she'll jump in and send me a request to start this. So welcome. Hope everybody has a coffee. And there she is. Let's wait for Elise. And it's loading.
Are we live? It worked.
Fancy seeing you.
Fancy seeing you too.
How are you doing?
Good, good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Same
Okay.
for me.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Wonderful. Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
first of all, I'm Jakob. I'm from Bremen. I was on Mosaic like 5 as part of Team Ocean as a scientific member, and yeah, that's basically it.
I'm Elise Droste. I'm a PhD student at the University of East Anglia, and for Mosaic, I was part of Team Eco, and I was also on Leg 5 together with Jakob.
For everybody who doesn't know how this is working, we're just going to be talking for like 20 or 30 minutes about like answering some questions and what our experiences on Mosaic. And in the end, there's like some time for questions you may have or like questions that might come up during this all this. So yeah, I guess we'll just start right in. I hope you got your coffee.
I do. Chose a nice mug as well.
Well, yeah, I couldn't decide. I have like 3 mugs here, and
To rotate them throughout the live
yeah,
session.
I can just show this for a second, and then so yeah. Anyway, well, so I guess you're a coffee drinker. I'm also more or less a coffee drinker. I mean, I don't like drink much coffee, but when I drink something like this, I drink coffee and. Yeah, not tea, I guess.
I love coffee. I like tea too, but I think it's fair to say I'm a little bit of
Yeah, I mean, it's, true.
I don't like to admit it,
No,
but
I don't like tea yet. That would be wrong.
yeah, no, I love my coffees. I'll take any excuse.
Yeah, and it's always, especially on like expeditions like Mosaic, we also have a coffee break, of course, which is at 5:30.
Best time of the day.
Sometimes we can end there, sometimes we can't because we're busy working. But it's always quite nice to have a little break, get some coffee, get a cake, and cake by our baker. So
yeah. So for those of you who don't
that's what I'm seeing right now. The little cake.
Oh my goodness, the coffee breaks on Polarstern. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, on Polarstern you have very strict times when you have your meals. So for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then there's also a very important part of the day, and that's cake time, and that's at 3:30. And that's when pretty much everybody stops working, whether you're on the ice or on the ship.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have some amazing cakes. So
yeah, on the ice you obviously have your break on the ice because you normally don't go back to the ship. That's why you always bring these fancy thermos flasks on the
ice. Look
at
you! Showing off some coffee merchandise.
Yeah, this is merchandise. You can buy it. No, I'm just kidding. We'll just jump into one of the questions. So one of them was, how do you know each other? Well, that's quite obvious. We know each other from Mosaic Deck 5, but actually we met before on another expedition, which was the Polarstern expedition to the Antarctic in December or winter 2018-19, I guess.
Yeah. And that was also a great expedition, and it was quite funny because neither Jakob or I knew that the other person was gonna go on like 5 of Mosaic. So we had this great moment when, because of course we had to quarantine because Corona, and then we had 1 week where we had to stay in our hotel rooms. We couldn't leave the hotel room itself, so we didn't see anyone. And then after that 1 week, when we were all tested like at least twice and everybody was negative, we were allowed to go out of the rooms but stay in the hotel. And I walked out because everybody was kind of like socially distancing outside, and I see Jakob. And we had this moment where we're like, "You're here?"
I didn't know that. That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
pretty awesome.
just wanted to hard, but we actually couldn't because we just still like on this quarantine thing, and you still have this in mind. At your 3 nasal swabs just to be sure you can go on this exhibition, and so you're like, maybe not now, and
I'll give you an air hug.
yeah,
It's not the same.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. Yeah, what other questions do we get?
Yeah, lots of them. We'll try to answer as many as possible, but
yeah,
I mean,
we won't get through all of them, but
it's nice getting all this many questions, but we just have to figure out which ones and like which we can answer in time. So
yeah, what about
you want to pick one?
Yeah, maybe just I guess briefly, maybe a little bit more of what we did on the cruise. So what kind of research were we involved in? I mean, you already said you were part of Team Ocean.
Yeah, well, I was it was quite easy. I was part of Team Ocean, so I was doing oceanographic measurements basically, or basically maintaining the devices to do these measurements and collecting this data. And and the maintenance was, I guess, the biggest part, because after a year of being in the ice and not being like, normally the devices get home and like get calibrated by the people who are building these things. And now this wasn't possible, so you had to be a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, creative.
But
you guys did such a good job. I'm actually surprised, not more stuff broke, because all that equipment had already been out on the ice and on the ship for almost a year, right? So, or over a year by that point. So, yeah.
It was kind of nice. I think my biggest worst case scenario for the entire cruise was our main instrument, the CDD breaking, and this happened within the first 3 days, I guess. So when this was done and we fixed it, we were like, okay, now anything can happen, and we'll be fine.
We can handle anything right now. Yeah, that was a stressful moment. I mean, because it's not only Team Ocean that depend on that, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Me, actually, this leads nicely into it. So I was part of Team Eco. I was part of Team Eco. I'm still part of Team Eco. I will always be part of Team Eco. But my research is basically, it's really focused on the carbon uptake of polar oceans. So how much carbon dioxide does it take up? How much does it emit? What's the role of sea ice? So, and then within Team Eco, I was taking samples for that kind of research, for carbon research, and also for all kinds of ecosystem variables. So we took a lot of seawater samples and ice samples, and most of our seawater samples came from that main instrument that you were describing had broken. So that would have, if that hadn't been fixed, it would have been not just a disaster for Team Ocean, but also Team Eco. So good job.
That would have been weird, yeah. Nothing to do. But I mean, exactly. Less time in the container, or spending in the dark room. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Yes. If I had been really fed up, I knew exactly how to break that instrument, but I didn't. It wasn't me.
That's one time when I was looking for you, because I had to bring you some stuff for the samples we took, and then you were in this container somewhere down in the ship, and I was like, okay, where's this container? I found this container, and opened the container, it was totally dark in there, just a little red lamp sitting there. I was like, okay.
Oh my goodness, yes. So actually, some of the containers we had on the ship, they're actually lab containers. So from the outside, it just looks like a container that you see on these big ships as well. And on the inside, it's just a lab. So you have you have sinks and you have your chemicals or whatever. And there were some of those containers that I worked in, and some of those had to be dark because we were dealing with some samples that were really sensitive to light. So you'd be messing up your samples if you did expose it. So I had to work in the dark with the red light. It looks really ominous. And occasionally quite often someone would come looking for me in dark places.
Be shocked about sometimes your work conditions. Just to understand better, because we were there. I mean, that was one of the questions we got quite often. It was how it was working in total light all the time, basically, or it was never getting dark. Mm-hmm. And then it was obviously the thing, you always are outside and it's always bright, which is, I think it's not that bad, because the only time it's a bit weird was when you're going to bed, but then you just like close the curtains and it's fine.
Yeah.
But at moments like this, is like you're really used to being like out in the sun, and then
yeah, true. And then when you have your first sunset on the way back, when we came back after the expedition, that was quite, then it's like you're rediscovering this phenomenon that you normally see every day.
Yeah.
But it's quite weird. Yeah. But that was pretty cool, actually, working, in days that are just 24-hour daylight. And in the beginning, it took me a while to get used to it, just because I just wouldn't get tired in the evening, right? Because it was just,
that's right, yeah.
Oh, it's outside, and we were still sailing north, and you want to just be outside the whole time, really, as long as you can, because the landscape is so beautiful, especially when you're in the sea ice, and it's
but it also helps a lot for like when you're like working a lot, and if it's dark all the time, I guess rather tired. If it's bright all the time, it's pretty good to do.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I sleep much better when it's dark outside. So it's always so that's what's actually one of the things I always did on Mosaic, was like taking a nap after lunchtime, basically, for like 20 minutes or something, because I was.
Did you do that every day?
Yeah, not every day, but some days, many days. Rather to the end, when it was like getting a bit more and more than
Yeah. Loads of people take naps, actually. It's true. I mean, we also worked super hard. We weren't just all napping.
Yeah. That's why you take a nap, not because you're like bored or anything. You're
just napping.
Because you're tired from. Yeah. But at the time, it's awesome. Yeah, power nap is right.
Yeah. Oh, these comments are really fun, actually. Yeah, nice.
So another question we got like quite often was, how do you sign up for this expedition like this? And that's, I guess you can sign up in general, like open positions, but in general you just have to have a project, basically, and then just ask to get there. And for me, it was a bit different, because I just knew somebody, like knew the people who were doing work there, and I just asked, do you need any help? But I asked it like 2 years in advance. And then it was quite a stretch, but eventually it worked. And due to Corona, I was first planned to go there in March, I think. And then I think our planes were going at the 22nd of March and to Norway, and Norway shut the airports in the 16th or something. So it was like, I was like this close already, and then it felt like, no, we're not going to work now. And then it worked out. And so.
Yeah. Well, it was meant to be, because now we're in the same leg.
Exactly. See, yeah.
Yeah, for me it was a bit different. So I joined the Mosaic expedition relatively late, because I know of people who had projects that were with Mosaic almost from the start, and really just like kind of grew along with all the preparation for Mosaic. And I joined last year, 2019, last year, and my mind's already in 2021. I just want 2020. I want to get it over.
Forget about this. Yeah. we can talk about this. Yeah.
Just committed. Except for Mosaic, that will be a highlight.
I'm glad to talk about Mosaic, but all the other stuff now.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was really lucky. I mean, just in general, that I got to just experience all of that. But so there happened to be a berth available on the ship, and also a berth that would be dedicated to a member of Team Eco. Originally that was going to be leg 6, so the final leg of Mosaic, as it was originally planned. And so it turned out that my my background, but especially also kind of my collaboration together with Team Eco worked really well, and my project fit in Team Eco really well. So I wrote an endorsement letter, endorsement request. So in that you kind of describe your project and what you want to do, and your research question and why it's relevant, and then it goes through a process where it gets approved. And yeah, I was lucky enough that mine got approved. So, yeah.
That sounds much more difficult than what I did.
But you already have so much experience on expeditions.
Yeah, but it's also like different kinds of approaches, I guess, because you're more from the scientific part, and I'm more like from the engineering / technician part. So that's
you're kind of both.
I'm just mostly helping people to get their data and don't really get data for myself. So
yeah.
I mean, I also do that, but I can use the data, of course, for stuff.
Yeah, you can do both, basically.
Yeah, of course I can do both.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you scientists, I can do that as well.
Here's a question. What is the thing that impressed you most on our journey?
I think it was the polar bears for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't imagine that there would be polar bears that far north. So I mean, when you're there, we're quite close to the North Pole for quite a while, and then for most of the time, and then you just sit there and work there in this desert of snow and ice, and just like if you're lost there for like too long, you're just not gonna make it back, I guess.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's just a polar bear walking by, basically not walking by, but like approaching you from a far distance. That's why we have polar bear guards and they look out, so you don't get surprised by them. And we actually had this one polar bear who was sticking around for like a week.
Oh yeah.
And there was quite a small polar bear actually, like a young polar bear, and you don't see that much other things living there, because I mean in Antarctica you see a lot of animals, basically seals and stuff, because they don't have any predators on the land, on the ice. But in the Arctic it's different, so they like rather stay in the water, so you don't see them that often. But all of a sudden this polar bear had like found a seal in the middle of nowhere, basically, where you just think like, how did this bear managed to do that? So
where did you come from? Why are you here? Yeah, oh my God, the polar bears were really amazing. And there was that one, the one with where he was hunting the seal, right? Which was, I mean, those polar bears need a lot of patience, because this polar bear was just sitting and it stared into a hole in the ice, or like along a lead, and it was just waiting for a seal to come up for breath, and then he would just grab him. And then at one point, I don't know, did you see it the moment that he grabbed the seal?
No, I didn't see that.
Out on the ice.
It probably just sat there for like days. It felt like days at least. So.
Yeah.
We're just sitting there or like rolling around, basically.
Yeah, they were really, really, really cute. I mean, super dangerous, but very, very beautiful to watch. For me, it was definitely the polar bears that were memorable, but also the sea ice itself. Like first, like I didn't expect so many melt ponds so far north, so close to the North Pole. And so melt ponds is just, it's exactly the word it is. So the ice melts not just from the bottom, but also from the top. So you get these like beautiful blue colored ponds everywhere. And I knew that was a feature, like a strong feature of the Arctic, especially in the summer. But I just didn't expect that. And the other thing was how dynamic the sea ice is. So of course, we know it's dynamic. Well, I knew it was dynamic because the ship was drifting along with it. So it is moving, but just like also small scales, like we were working on the edge of the floe, and you could just stand there, and sometimes you could hear the ice move, and it would be ridging in places, and you could see it happening. Like it's not something, that happens slowly overnight or something. It's something that can happen within the span of minutes or half an hour. You have a huge ridge, and or it breaks up. That's the opposite, of course, which also happened a few times. It actually happened, what was it, like 2 hours after we had decided we were gonna go onto our newly found flow for the first time. We're like, let's go, and then it was a massive crack.
I mean, it also can be a bit scary. I mean, I remember this one time when we were sitting at this one lead there and like sampling in the water. And then all of a sudden, I was thinking I was going crazy, because the other side of the ice floe just came towards me like super fast. I was like, no, this can't be right. And I was like asking my colleague, like, do you see this? I'm like, oh yeah, this is crazy. Because you don't imagine it being like fast. I mean, it's not like super fast, but it's like quite fast. It's
like you can see it happening. Yeah, that was really cool.
That's
impressive. kind of scary as well, because it's just, it's almost unimaginable how much force, how much pressure the ice is on constantly, and therefore also the ship, if it's between pieces of ice, it's experiencing the same pressure. So yeah, it makes you appreciate nature. Don't mess with it. It's powerful.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, now something lighter, maybe. So, I just really like this question because it's what's your favorite meal while having been at the sea with Mosaic?
Ooh, so, cake.
Cake?
That kind of a meal.
No, because for me, it just like instantly struck my mind was this one time when we had quite a rough day. I think it was really bad weather. It was quite cold, but also a bit rainy, so it was like super weird.
Yeah.
And then some stuff broke down for us, and it was a really rough day. And when I asked asked what was for dinner, and somebody just answered over the radio, "Yeah, it's bear ribs." And I was like, "Yes." And at least this is right today. So maybe, yeah. So that's why.
The bear ribs are great. That's true. I also remember that everybody was suddenly really excited, and I was wondering why is everybody so excited? And it turned out that we were having pizza that evening, and everybody was like, "Do you know it's pizza this evening? Make sure you get off the ice on time because we all want pizza." I mean, I have to say this is like weeks and weeks and weeks into the expedition, right?
Exactly.
So
after a couple of
day one, and you're like craving pizza.
Just after a while, just everything gets really exciting, basically, and even food is just helping a lot with just being there in general and just staying like active, I guess.
And overall, we had really good food, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you never go hungry on Polarstern.
No,
if you go hungry, you're doing something really wrong.
Yes, I mean, I only ate went to dinner and lunch because I just
me too.
Breakfast because it was just 3 times a day was at some point too much.
And lunch is at 11:30. I don't know, maybe that's normal for some people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like way too early for me. So I took that as my breakfast. Oh, and the pancakes in the morning. So sometimes there'd be pancakes left from the breakfast, and then I might like grab one of those.
Yeah, sometimes I grab it. Yeah, that's true. I'm good. Yeah, sometimes I grab pancake. Just
as a snack.
Ice in the hand, like. That was great. So, how do you feel after the trip? That's would you go back? So myself, I would just right now go back, I guess, because being stuck during all this or being like more or less forced to stay at home as much as possible is just let me put it this way: we had a bit of freedom again, just from like staying for. That was the good part about being on the Mosaic expedition, I guess, during this Corona thing, because actually being there felt more natural than being at home and being stuck at home, basically. So that's what I miss most. That just people and normal human contact, I guess, all the time. Just don't thinking about this. So I would definitely go back. It was a great experience, and I was quite happy to that this happened, because I think in the future I will just think back to 2020 and just think about Mosaic first and Corona, and so that's already good things, I guess.
Yeah, you're really lucky in that. Yeah, I would also go back in a heartbeat. Even without Corona, I think I would just I would just immediately say yes. It's just such a it's a really intense experience, but at least for me it was really intense, because you're there for the science, so you're so focused on the science and making everything happen and helping each other out, and you're learning a lot, but you don't have all the I guess maybe daily responsibilities that you have here. You don't have to go shopping for food. You don't have to make your dinner. It's really in that from that respect, it's quite easy life, and it's just really great to be with the people on board, and it's just a really nice group.
Yeah, I miss it. I'm always amazed how well it works. I mean, this time we were 100 different people from like a lot of 10 different countries basically, and everything always works fine. I don't recall any like really issues or anything. So it was always like really, really harmonic and really nice. So that's what basically really impresses me, that I always
it works out, right, with the people that you're there. Yeah.
Never a big trouble and stuff. And none of my cruises before, there was none of my expeditions before there was anything going on. Basically, it was always quite nice. So
yeah. I really miss people a lot afterwards. Now still. Should we? I mean, we have still some questions here, but I've also seen some live questions pop up, and maybe we should.
Yeah, we can maybe just mix it up, I guess.
We'll mix it up. Yeah, I just saw a live question come by, and it was, I think it was, what's your favorite activity during downtime? So in our free time.
Sauna.
Yes, I was gonna say the same. We had a sauna on board, and it's the best thing. The
sauna is definitely. I mean, it's just nice to just go there, hang out a bit, and actually once
you need time to relax, because it's the work is really intense.
Half an hour or something, so just it's already great. And I remember this one great day. It was on our way back when we had our spa day with the with our lovely face masks after the sauna. It was
our spa day was great. So I had brought these face masks, and I'm not talking about the Corona face mask, like the actual skin purifying face mask, because someone on my previous expedition had brought those, and we also had like a little girl spa day, and I thought, I'm gonna do the same this time. So, but during the expedition, we were so busy that we just could never make the time. So at the end, we managed to find an evening, and so we went to the sauna with some people, and Jakob too, and we managed to convince him to join us in our spa retreat.
And this really nice mud face mask, and it was
mud masks.
It was just mud everywhere in my beard and my hair. It was a mess, but it was fun.
So sauna is the best thing.
Yeah, that's, I guess,
or just hanging out in the common area, just talking with people.
Just chatting and relaxing for once, I guess.
Yes, whenever we can.
I also like the question about if we ever fell in the water. So for me personally, I didn't.
But I've heard of others who did.
There were people who fell in, but I mean that's why we were. If you work in an environment, or like if you have in general like work there where it's rather possible to fall in, you just wear a survival suit.
Yeah.
Which is just keeping you from freezing basically, and this works quite well.
Mm-hmm.
But all of us were always, when we were on the ice, we were always wearing these FXR suits. They are basically just floating suits. So if you fall in the water, you just float up and can just get out again. So
it was 100% safe. Like nobody actually went in completely. It was just someone's foot would get wet or.
Yeah. Well, my foot got wet once, so but that's manageable. So you just carry another, like a second pair of socks, and then you're fine.
Exactly. We were also there in summer, so it was cold, but
exactly.
And we were super close to this ship as well. Like if there was something, you could be there within a few minutes.
Yeah, a couple of minutes.
So it's very safe.
If it's in the winter, it's a different story. But I think it's in the winter, it's also harder to fall in the water because there are no melt ponds in the winter. And
that's true. Yeah, that's very true. You'd have to stand near a crack or something, or
just in a tent where you have your hole or something where you.
You guys have a hole in the ice. Yeah.
But you should try not to do that. It's just that's never a good idea to fall into a hole where you have some measurements going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's sub-zero water. It's cold.
And then you get out and it's minus 30 degrees. No, you don't want to do that.
No.
So you have to be quite cautious about not falling into the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the main tasks, I guess.
Whatever you do, don't fall in the water.
One question: What should you do to be a good candidate for an expedition like this? Don't fall in the water.
Don't fall in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be like, too curious at some point. You have to be curious, but not too much.
Don't stick your head in the water to see what's down there. Yeah. Be passionate.
Be passionate.
Yeah.
So, what was another question we had?
We also had a question. Have you listened to the song Breaking Ice?
No, I didn't.
I think maybe it's a song by Britney, I think, but no, I didn't either.
No.
We should have, and next time I'm taking it with me. But it's cool in the sauna, because the sauna is like it's down below, but it's next to the edge of the hull of the ship. So when the Polarstern is actually breaking through ice, you hear it really clearly in the sauna. So you are listening to breaking ice. So maybe that counts too.
Yeah, I think that counts. Definitely. It's actually quite relaxing just listening to this. So.
Yeah, it's the best.
I mean, sometimes it's a bit weird if you're in the sauna and let's say everything like starts cracking around you, but you just have to trust in the ship, I guess. So.
Yeah. Oh, someone's asking, is there a pool on the ship? In case you don't want to jump into the sea.
Yeah.
There is a pool, actually. Yeah. I didn't use it a lot this time, but there were water bowl games.
Yep.
And there once a week. We tried once a week at least. Yeah.
Which
and
is
it would
sometimes
get drained.
having like water ball games after like an entire work day of like being on the ice and having some, quite heavy stuff to do. But it's fun. Really fun. I spend quite a lot of time in the pool, I guess, in my free time. So.
In your free time, yeah. And were we able to phone to our families? There was an Iridium. Was it Iridium? A satellite phone.
Satellite phone, yeah.
Yeah. So we
you can phone there if you need to. And
Liana's comment, you see. Jakob was master at water bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sometimes the case. Yeah.
And maybe this one last question before we have to wrap it up. What do we miss most about being on the ship?
I think the ship. just I don't know, just being there and just. I mean, right now, obviously the people. But in general, it's just the excitement, I guess, like of going out in the ice every day. So it doesn't matter how tired I was, like over the entire cruise or in the entire month. Like as soon as I went onto the ice, I was fine. So it was like from like when we went on the ice at like 9 in the morning and like stayed there until 6 or 7 in the evening. No problems. So when you come back from the ice, you might like feel some issues, but as soon as I was on the ice, it's always everything's fine then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I generally the atmosphere on the ship, being with the people that were there, because you grow really close to each other because you're, with a limited number of people and you get to know each other really well. You work together every day. There's also a question, did we get time off on weekends? Pretty much every day is a work day, but we did have Sunday morning off. And it depends on your own work and your own
Sunday morning was
schedule.
basically, it was not off, I would say. It was just like that on Sunday mornings from until 12 or like 1, I think, we weren't allowed to go on the ice, which was basically just a safe insurance thing that we don't overstand it. We have some downtime because otherwise, if you can go on the ice every day, you go on the ice every day.
Yeah.
So we had to play like on Sundays like before lunchtime, we're not going on the ice, and so we can have time for catching up on other stuff, maybe, or just maybe have a morning off, or just catch up on data stuff or something else, which was done.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that was actually quite a good idea. So we just had
definitely
at least the Sundays.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we've had such great questions, and I could keep talking, but we are already at 35 minutes, so maybe we should wrap it up. We have this problem, we cannot stop talking. Anyway, so we should mention that this is the last Mosaic coffee break.
Yeah, on this account.
Series of these on this account, yeah, on the Mosaic Expedition account. Most of them have been recorded, so if you want to like watch the previous ones, then you can find those, I think, on YouTube. And also on Instagram, of course. So yeah, so the expedition ended in October this year, but Coffee Break will continue, just not on Mosaic. So it's gonna continue on the Ali Expedition Instagram account. So start following that if you haven't already. And the new coffee breaks will start in February on the 4th, again at 4 p.m. CET.
All right.
So it's great seeing you too.
Fancy all you showed up for this, and thank you for all the great questions.
Yes, thank you very much.
And yes, see you maybe on the Mosaic tour, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. On our next expedition.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.